Hi there everybody, sorry for the slight delay there, I think that was a technical issue. Welcome to the second series from V for Life, or Vegetarian for Life, where we're doing Veganuary cookery. So today I'm going to do some healthy desserts with you. If you've not joined one of our sessions before, we're a charity that supports vegans and vegetarians over the age of 50. Through cookery sessions and advice and lots of funding, and so please go on our website, vegetarianforlife.org.uk. We've got loads of recipes and lots of ideas on there. Today I'm going to make a vegan creme brulee, and I'm also going to make a simple chocolate mousse, and they're both, I'm saying they're kind of healthy, they're healthy-ish, using less refined sugars, and yeah, fully vegan, like I say, so no egg or cream in the creme brulee. This is kind of a take on a traditional recipe, and we've got loads of ideas like that on the website, ideas for sponge cakes, again with no eggs and no butter or buttercream or anything like that, and things like cheesecakes, where we use vegan yogurt and vegan cream cheese, and vegan biscuits. So there's loads of ideas like that. So if you're looking for something, a traditional recipe, and you want to sort of veganize it, then check out our recipe section on the website. So I'm going to get started with this. So I'm going to start with the creme brulee, and I've got some cashew nuts. So this is going to form the main bulk. It's going to be, it's actually got more calories and more nutrients than a regular creme brulee. You've got lots of protein and essential fats in the nuts here. And then I'm going to try and turn this into a powder. That's the first thing I'm going to do. So a touch of sea salt, and then this is an ingredient you might not be familiar with. It's called Agar, and it's made from seaweed. So it's a setting agent, a gelling agent. So it's good for things where you want to use gelatine, or you want something to thicken, like a soup perhaps, or desserts like this. And I'm going to use a tablespoon of this. And it's not an uncommon ingredient these days. You can find this in most supermarkets, usually in the section where you've got the kind of noodles, the Japanese things. And this is from a brand called Clear Spring. That's kind of one of the most common brands. So I've got a tablespoon of that. I've got a quarter cup, or half a cup rather, of cashew nuts, which is about 65 grams. And I'm just going to blitz that into a powder in my NutriBullet. You could do this in a coffee spice grinder or in your food processor as well. So you could hear that motor start to slow. That's because it's the gelling agent in the agar has made it become a bit sort of sticky. So you can see it sort of sticking to the side slightly, and it's turned into a fine powder. So I'm going to put that into a pan. And then I'm going to slowly add some boiling water. So about a cup of boiling water to begin with. And I'm going to put that on a gentle heat. And just blend it with a hand blender like so. So we're aiming to create a nice smooth consistency, no lumps. What we'll be making essentially will be very smooth custard. To begin with, just going to heat that gently. Make sure all that agar and blended cashew nuts are incorporated. And then we can slowly add some more water. If you want to ask any questions, I'll check the message board in a second. So agar is a much more versatile ingredient than gelatin, I'd say. So not only is it vegan, but it also has a higher resistance to heat. So you can get away with a bit more. It's not as weak as gelatin. And then I'm going to add another cup, or another, I'd say that's about enough. So you want about 1.5 cups of water. Just incorporate all the cashews. And we're going to let that sit on a gentle heat just for a minute or so. Before we add some of the other ingredients. Let's have a look at the chat. Yeah, so today we're making healthy desserts. So I'm making a vegan creme brulee and also a healthy chocolate mousse with avocado. So there's loads of variations out there of that. This is my version. So the next ingredient is some tofu. So I'm using a silken tofu. So you might have seen this. Again, it's in the sort of noodle Japanese area of supermarkets usually. You get lots of variations of tofu. You get fresh tofu, which is usually in the fridge section, and then you get and is a lot firmer usually, and then you get this soft tofu. So it's all the same stuff. It comes from coagulating soy milk, and a bit like making cheese, where you press it and you separate the curds and the whey, and yeah, you press the solid part into a block, and then you get varying degrees of firmness, a bit like cheese, where you get soft cheeses and you get hard cheese. So this is a silken tofu, and it's really good for desserts. You'll see it used in Asian cookery a lot in desserts. So I'm putting some of that in, and 180 grams of that. And then I'm going to add some sweetness with some maple syrup. So about 1/4 cup maple syrup. And then also a pinch of vanilla. Give it that classic creme brulee taste. And also, I'm going to just add a pinch of turmeric. So that might sound a bit weird, but it'll give it that kind of classic custard colour. But you only want a little pinch of that. You don't really want to taste it, otherwise it will make it taste bitter. And then we just want to blend this in again, creating a nice smooth consistency. Make sure that tofu is blended in. And then what we're going to do next, we're going to pour it through a fine sieve. And we're going to let it sit on the stove until it thickens. So I'm pretty much there, blending all the ingredients together. Sorry about the noise. And then get another pan, and then we just pour that through, and that'll just get rid of any bits that we haven't managed to blend in. And then we keep it on the heat, a gentle heat, try not to boil it. And for about 10 minutes it will get thicker, and you'll just keep scraping down the sides and just make sure you bring that into the center. And then when that's done, you've got a lovely thick vanilla-y sweet custard which you could eat straight away, but we're not. We're going to create creme brulee, so I'm not going to stand here for 10 minutes. I have some pre-made, so what I do when that's thickened slightly, pour that into a little ramekin or a creme brulee dish, slightly bigger, and then that would cool. Then put it in the fridge, cover it, and then in a couple of hours it will be nicely set. So you've got a lovely set custard there. And then the only thing else to do is to create the classic creme brulee top, the sugar with the when you crack it open. So obviously this isn't healthy. You could eat that as it is. You could top it with nuts, with fruit. Obviously it's not going to be a creme brulee, but you've got like a nice healthy sweet dessert there. I mean, you could even have that for breakfast. But I'm just going to show you this. Only a little bit of sugar, about a teaspoon. I'll try and get it as evenly covered over the top as possible. Then either using a little chef torch or get it under a grill. Just quickly burn the sugar. So this is the real fun part. They're not expensive, these little chef torches. I think maybe £10. Quite a useful tool in the kitchen. But again, like I say, not essential. You could just stick it under a grill, so it doesn't have quite the spectacle. And there you've got a nice crispy top, and then you've got the lovely smooth custard underneath. Delicious. So this is the one I've been cooking for a few minutes. You can see it's thickened and it'll start to collect on the sides. So you just want to scrape that down and bring it into the center. So now I'm going to show you a easy, quick and healthy chocolate mousse. So no eggs or anything, just using an avocado. So split that open, get rid of the stone, and then just scoop out your flesh. So you want a nice ripe avocado. Doesn't matter if you open it and it's got some dark bits in there. There's always a bit of a lottery with a avocado, but in this case it doesn't matter because we're going to be putting some cocoa powder in there, so you're not going to even see that. Whoops. So yeah, just using some cocoa powder. Any will do. This is a Tesco cocoa powder. Other giant supermarkets are available. I'm just going to add a couple of tablespoons of this. You can add a bit more, a bit less if you like it more bitter or less. And then for sweetness, again, I'm going to add maple syrup. It is considered a bit healthier than refined sugar, but it is still a sugar, so something to bear in mind. So this really depends on your taste, so 1 to 2 tablespoons. But you could add more or less again if you want it sweeter. And then I'm going to add some milk to this, some plant milk. So this again, it's down to your taste. I'm using some hazelnut milk today. So I mean, there's all kinds available these days. All the different nut milks, soy milk, oat milk is really good, especially good in coffee. This stuff is amazing in coffee as well. It's very sweet, as the main ingredient is actually rice. So it's water, rice, milk, and hazelnuts, and a bit of sea salt, and that's it. Lots of plant milks are fortified, so they're fortified with calcium and B vitamins. So that's really good if you're switching to a vegan or vegetarian diet as well. You can also make your own. So I do this sometimes just with some oats and some water, a bit of sea salt, and maybe a date or something for the sweetness. And if you get they're called nut bags, so very cheap, just a couple of pounds, and it's like a fine muslin cloth, and it's what you do, you put all your ingredients in there. It's usually about 1 to 6 parts, so 1 part, say it's 1 cup of nuts, and then it'll be about 6 parts water. And you put all your ingredients in there. Well, you blend it up first, sorry, and then you put it in there, your kind of pulp, and you squeeze it through, and then you've got a lovely plant milk which will keep in the fridge for a few days. So you can see this. I'm just going to return to the custard. This is thickened nicely, so I'll just take it off the heat, and then that would then get poured into the ramekins. So we want about 80 millilitres of milk, just to kind of get it going. So not very much. See how that does. And then that's it. We just blend that up. And you really don't taste the avocado in this, which is good. I mean, avocado is delicious, but not in a sweet dessert. You're just really getting the thick, creamy consistency from the avocado, which really replicates a mousse. So put it in a little serving bowl or glass. probably get about 2 to 4 servings out of this, depending on how greedy you are. I mean, I'm sure I could eat that in one go. And then you could finish that with some chopped nuts, some fruit. I'm just going to put some grating of dark chocolate on the top and a squeeze of lime. So I think lime and dark chocolate really goes well together. So I've just got my potato peeler and I'm just running it down the side of a bar of dark chocolate. So this is fully vegan chocolate. I mean, it's just a lot of dark chocolate isn't. So always look at the ingredients. Sometimes they have milk powder in them, but usually a good quality dark chocolate. I mean, this is a 90% cocoa, so I mean that might be a bit too much for some of you. You really want about a 70%, and that still retains its sort of sweetness and bitterness. I quite like that sort of bitter dark chocolate. I've even like a bit of 100% occasionally. So just a squeeze of lime as well. You could have incorporated this into the recipe. Just a squeeze on top. And there you've got a lovely, healthy chocolate mousse. Let's give that a little taste. So good. So it's really dark, bitter. Like I said, you could put less cocoa in there if you don't want it quite as bitter, or a little bit more sweetener, a little bit more maple syrup if you want it to be sweeter and less bitter. Let's have a look at the chat. So, question from Pamela Stevens. Does using the blender in a saucepan ruin either, or putting bits of metal in food? I wouldn't say so. I'm not hitting the sides. I'm just blending the mixture. So, I mean, if you're using an anti-stick surface in your pan, I wouldn't do that unless you're using one of these green pans, which use a sort of, I haven't got one to hand, use a sort of safer material and not Teflon, which isn't good to consume. But when you're using just metal on metal, I think it's okay personally. And like I say, I'm not trying to hit the sides or anything too much. Let's have a look. So all the recipes are available on our website, which is vegetarianforlife.org.uk. We've got loads on there, seasonal recipes, loads of sweet ideas, and like I was saying at the start, ideas for sort of veganizing classic recipes. For example, your creme brulee, chocolate mousse, which isn't really a chocolate mousse, it's a bit of a cheap chocolate mousse. And things like cottage pies and cheesecakes, everything. We've even got fake steaks and things like that. If you want to go down that route in your vegan cookery. And yeah, there's a link to the creme brulee recipe in the comments here. Let's have a look. Yeah, I think that's it. If there's any more questions, just send them over now, or you can get in touch afterwards. You can email me directly. I'm Ollie at vegetarianforlife.org.uk, or you can contact our company as well. So thanks a lot for joining. I hope that's given you a bit of inspiration for your veganuary. And yeah, please go on the website, have a look for more recipes, and I hope to see you again soon.